night before, they can give us a big turkey dinner. The night before, and I don't know, those turkeys must have been frozen and thawed out and refrozen again because everybody on the ship got sick.
Really?
Got from Turkey?
All night long, because when you're trying, they figure you're getting some good rest before going onto the island there. They're in the toilet sitting on one hole and puking in the other, or in line getting into the sick bay to get a black and white.
What's a black and white?
I don't know, some kind of Corman gave you for diarrhea.
Some kind of pill, huh?
Huh?
A pill? Some kind of...
No, it was a little cup stuff. It was white stuff, and then they just did black fluid they put in like that.
Yeah. Doesn't sound
The
good.
next morning,
Sounds like tar.
it was steak and eggs for breakfast. Nobody showed up.
You tell them the Zeros, do they make a different kind of sound when the Japanese planes? Than you
Big
usually?
friend?
The Zeros, do they make it, Japanese Zeros, do they make a different kind of engine sound than American planes? When they came over, did it sound different?
I never saw any zeros in you, I know.
No?
Japs had no air cover at all, and that out there.
Was that mortar shells coming in?
Those mortar shells come in like rain all the time. I mean, that's what took most of the casualties, the mortar shells.
They were dug in
They
then.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were shooting them down from the other end of the island, I mean, we were on the revetments, around the airstrip there. And unless they came right down on top of you, I mean, it's hard to get there. But then from Suribachi, the first 2 days, I mean, the second or day or the third day they took Suribachi. But until they took Suribachi, I mean, they were flipping them in from the backside. There's no way to get away from them. They had the sick bays along these revetments on Iwojima. The first day, there was 3 strips, there was 2 finished strips, and then there was a third one they were building up in the far end of the island, the high end of the island. And they had the sick bays along there, and Jesus. You went in there with a minor wound, you wound up with a major one.
Oh,
That was
right.
no place to be.
That's good.
Until they took Suribachi, that made a big difference. And then, you just had one direction to worry about.
What was the date you went in?
The date?
Yeah.
February 19th, 1945.
How long did it take to take the whole island? How long was the maneuvers?
I think it was under 30 days. It was, somewhere high 20s, I think. They finally secured the island.
Did you have a lot of, ship artillery?
They had a lot of weird artillery. I mean, it wasn't an island, that
It's flat.
that operation wasn't conducive to artillery fire because it wasn't all that big to start with. It was shaped like that. They say those aviators say it was shaped just like a pork chop.
Yeah.
Where we landed right in the neck up there, it was only about less than a mile wide there. And then Suribachi was right on the very tip there of the narrow end. And then it kind of gradually went uphill to I think it was the northern end. That was all. And I never did see any vegetation. Nothing. It got awful. It looked like hell. There was nothing on it but black sand and bodies.
How many?
I don't know.
How many Japanese were there? How did you figure? How many?
Oh, they figured there was at least 22,000.
Wow. On that small an island?
And there was no prisoners taken.
Wow.
That I know of.
Did they have any? Did they have any water support, or was it all their stuff on the island?
No, what they had was what they
What they had there on the island?
used. There was no way to supply them at all. I mean, Navy had too much. I don't know how many cars were down there, but we went right under the bow of one of them when we were making the landing car, and they were bombing it off and on all the time, and then there was heavier stuff coming in. But after we got on the island, they didn't do any more shelling from the outside because it was just too small. Talk about getting killed with friendly fire. They called them short rounds in those days.
Short rounds?
We just used our own stuff when we had a chance. 37, that's pretty small. Those are little cannon on wheels that they
Right.
pulled in the back of the Jeep, they're
Yeah.
small little things. We could use them, but anything bigger than that. Although the Japs had those screaming mimes, I don't know what those things were. They were like
Screaming
a 55-gallon drum,
Yeah,
they had no
yeah.
aerodynamics at all. You could hear them coming. That's why they call them screaming mimes. Going, making noise.
Wow.
You could
What was
see
it?
the big thing. You were just tumbling in the air. And when that thing hit the ground, it put a ball
funny.
of flame out about from here out to the road out there.
Well, it's just full of gasoline or
It
something.
was full of
Some kind of inflammatory
that
napalm kind of.
napalm. Yeah, it was full of napalm. God, what a ball of fire they put out when they hit the ground. But you knew well when they were coming. I mean, you found the deepest hole you could find.
Yeah. You don't want to be burned up. Jeez.
Well, you lost some buddies right away too, didn't you?
Oh, and,
First assault. Just sounds
So
like
you went in. There was a wave in front of you of infantry, right?
yeah, there was one wave. I forget which outfit it was. There's some couple of infantry companies from 27th Regiment. I don't remember which ones they were.
Did you have any air cover?
Hmm?
Did you guys have any air cover? Did you have
We,
any? How many planes did Navy have?
they couldn't really be of much help yet. They kind of concentrated on the north end of the island and figured, well, to soften that up a little bit. We're eventually going to get up there. But that island was so honeycombed,
There's no point.
there really was no. I was down in them caves. Man, you could walk along, it's like being in the town. You could walk along straight up. I mean, it wasn't crawling. You could walk along them. They had these big storerooms off to the side, all full of food. I seen big jars of fish heads in there. You could see the eyes, and everything.
Yeah.
And big loads of those kind of tan-colored Jap Army blankets with, the big red star on them. I took a couple of them, but I never. Well, I got hit. I lost all that. I had a bunch of stuff. A
Wow.
buddy of mine, we had a brand new Nambu machine gun. It must have been brand new.
Wow.
Yeah. We come up on this little jeep, and he was sitting behind a gun, his eyes wide open and looking like that. And he had a bullet
Right there.
right at the top of his nose,
That
right
was
between
it.
his eyes. Boy, some guy really pinwheeled him.
That was it. So he wasn't moving.
But he was just behind that gun with his eyes wide open, and we took that gun, and I don't know what became of that. It was a beauty. I was we're figuring out a way we could sneak it back, taking it apart and putting it in our sea bags, You take this barrel and we'll take the light. It was brand new. So they must have got a lot of supplies in just before the landing because they had some new equipment on there that hadn't been too beat up. Well played.
How long did you train in Camuela before you went over?
Oh, yeah,
6 months.
somewhere 6, 7 months.
Yeah.
I
But
think we'd leave for periods of time. Well, we came back there. Before we left on the operation, though, we went down to Oahu.
right.
They had a big beer party on the beach.
Did you guys launch out of Hickam or Pearl Harbor? Did you guys?
Yeah,
That's
right
where
in the Pearl Harbor. Yeah, the PX, from the PX profit, they threw a great big beer party for the. Well, of course, we were the 5th Marine Division. They were the ones that were stationed at Caniwella there, and that's the one the beer party was for. But we picked up the other division, the 6th division, after we were out to sea, and they came in another convoy. And then I think the 4th was, or the 3rd. I think it was the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th Marine divisions that went on the. The 3rd didn't see that much action. They were the reserve division. The 5th and the 6th were on the.
You said some of your buddies didn't last a couple of hours on the beach, huh?
Oh no. You can see how they can have unknown soldiers for God's sake.
Yeah.
Even a few days later when we were going up toward number 2.
Could you tell if they're American or Japanese, or it was just a torso? That must be unnerving. You must just get desensitized to it after a while. You just have to kind of...
Yeah, because it's just you versus them. What else could you do, you know?
I remember this sergeant came back one day. He was in a unit a little further up from us. He came back and he said, "You see that young kid around here again?" You know, those young Marines, they call them chicken, you know. They were, you know, the little young kid, you know. They get in at 17 for kind of. This kid didn't look like he was more than 17. But we had found him early that morning. Me and 3 other guys were going across this open and came to the big rock formation there, and then kind of wedged in the rocks there. This young kid there, and his eyes are, you know, he just like he was resting there. You know, I practically wanted to spoke to him at first. He didn't answer him. His eyes were open and everything. Then they lifted up his helmet, and then just the blood came out as soon as he lifted up his helmet, and bullet hole right in his head up there. That's the one he was looking for. Looks like he's about 17 at most.
Right.
That kid.
Yeah, my dad said that everybody tried to get in, you know? Tried to get in.
His dad tried to get in, wasn't old enough.
Yeah. Before,
They'd lie about their age and try and get in.
yeah.
So there was the first wave of the infantry went in, then those tractor things went in, or?
Yeah, it was alligators. The first wave, they were just launching rockets, pillboxes along the beach.
I bet.
And then you went in?
And they had another wave of alligators, but those were infantry in them, and then we were right behind them. And there was 1 or 2 behind us, I'm sure. That was all, and then they didn't send any more until about 2:30 in the afternoon. They were waiting till I get the reports back. How things were going.
Yeah,
We'll send in, it's like, if you guys live, we'll send more in.
Yeah.
I can go there for a while, like, well, you know.
Just like the
Crazy.
yeah.
You know, it's not you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucker's gonna be close. You can just see it arching over, you know what I mean? It'll look like it's gonna come right down in your hip pocket.
Down your throat.
But,
Did they have any,
it
like...
did land maybe 20 to 30 feet away for kind of, well, it did, they make noise when they hit the ground. That's the only time you hear it from them, when they hit the ground. But
You guys brought
Unless
in
they were
more.
right on top of you, they didn't do any harm, because we were under the ground level, it just, any shrapnel would just pass on the top of the ground. It- We're gonna be betting which one we're gonna get in the hole with. I mean, you're watching them, Dan, that's all they're doing, is lobbing them all afternoon. They must have had an unlimited supply.
Yeah.
of the guys.
Yeah. How much ammunition did they have?
Huh?
Did you find in the caves a lot of ammo or a lot of stockpiles?
Not so much of the caves that we came across. It was up to the 8th or 9th day when I got hit. I mean, there was 21 more days of
Shelling?
You know, of the fight going on. And, what they were leaving behind when we were gone was mostly blankets and food supplies and stuff like that. They were taking ammo as much as they were taking that with them, because they knew anything they left
Yeah.
behind was
They're
gone.
gonna-
God.
They were packing all the ammunition they could pack, and they pretty much cleaned them places out of ammo. They left the fish heads and the blankets behind.
But did they have their boats come pick them up, or were they retreating, or did they?
They were all killed, weren't they?
You just
They were all killed there, weren't they? No one came and rescued them off. Whoever was there died there.
Well, a couple of afternoons we were over on the far side of the island. Now we should spend the whole afternoon putting these satchel charges up against these cave holes, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Sealing them in so they couldn't come out at nighttime after it. I imagine a lot of them got buried alive and everything.
That's what they did in Iran, or I mean Iraq. They got
Yeah.
up. They got up the bulldozer in
see,
the
that's-
trench, and they went.
The way they talk like that's some inhuman
Nah,
nothing's
that's
going
no-
on for I don't know how many thousand we buried on Evo with satchel charges up against those cave holes.
Yeah, sure.
That's war. That's part of the game.
Yeah, so that's for them.
See, they really fooled the Japs on this operation, though. What the Marines were doing through the South Pacific all the time, you know what I mean? They're coming toward, the island they were going to hit.
Yeah,
The night before, you know what I mean?
yeah.
They'd swing the ships around the backside and hit the backside, not the front side. They'd come in through the back door, you know?
Yeah.
So in Evo, they figured we were going to do the same thing. So when we got to Evo, the second or third day when we were sealing up caves over there, we had some rain and then some wind and everything, and that whole beach on the other side, you could just see the minefields in there. Just the whole beach was all mine.
Oh, mine?
The beach we came in on, there was nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. But
Wow.
if we'd have landed on the other side like they usually do,
That would have been it.
we'd have ran in some horrific minefield.
Wow, gosh.
So what they did, they just set off the minefields with
Tripwires,
Charges.
charges. Wow.
or torpedoes or something like that. Like they were using those kind of whip things, I think, in Iraq. That they
Oh yeah, yeah.
it was Bangalore. That's
Yeah,
that barbed
drag it.
wire that spiral like that there.
Yeah.
Well, they have these Bangalore torpedoes that they fit together. You know, what I mean, that would be to blow a hole in so you could get through. I think we didn't. Wasn't part of our deal, but I think later on the engineers over there, they probably set them off with something like that to get rid of them. Because you didn't have to poke for them; you could see them. They were right there. The wind had
Oh, blown away the
covered
tops.
them all,
Yeah. Something else. Did they when they came into Pearl Harbor? Did they come over the Big Island first, or what did they hit first? The Japanese planes.
I know you can't. Let me go get.
Oh, they were right into
Let
Pearl
me
Harbor,
look
I
at
think.
They went-
They were after the Navy ships. That's what they were after. They
Right.
weren't after the people of the island. They wanted them ships.
Sink them all in the harbor.
Preferably, they wanted all the carriers, but the carriers were all out of there, which is a very strange
Now, yeah.
circumstance. As far as I'm concerned, they said they never knew anything about the sneak attack, but the no
And how-
carriers were in there at all.
Now, weren't the carriers on their way to engage in Midway, or?
Somewhere, I don't know just where they were. anchored all them ships when they were.
Battleships.
Yeah, there's a lot of battleships and
Destroyers, yeah.
cruisers in there, but no carrier.
But it didn't really block the. You could still use the harbor afterwards. They could still get in and out. They were trying to sink
Yeah.
them in the entrance. They didn't want to do that. Yeah, it was something else.
I don't think they had too much difficulty. I think it was only one ship, I think, that was anywhere near blocking the entrance in and out of the harbor.
Wow.
That was removed easy, you know.
You saw the flag go up too, didn't you? On Iwo, you saw the flag go up.
Oh, yeah. I think I was one of the first ones to see that flag up, other than the ones that put it up.
Really?
I was just sitting backwards in my fossil looking up at the mountain there, thinking, you know what I mean, and then I seen this thing fluttering. And finally I realized that it was a flag. I said, geez, that's a blessing. I said, it looked like they took the Suribachi and didn't have to worry about those motors coming down anymore from that end.
Oh, is that where the flag went up? It was on Suribachi.
Yeah. At the top up there, so they'd gotten all the way to the top, so you knew when they were up on the top there, the thing was secured finally.
Was there a lot of smoke that made it hard to? Was there a lot of smoke and stuff to make it hard to see?
No, not at that point.
Wow.
That was about the third day, I think we were on there with secured Suribachi. Memory serves me right, about the third day.
Wow.
How many people went in that first wave?
A lot. At least probably a lot of them.
There's the 27th Regiment and the 28th Regiment were the two regiments of the 5th Marine Division that were in on the initial attack. Well, they usually hold a battalion back. And they commit 2 battalions and hold 1 battalion in reserve, so there was 2 battalions of the 27th and 2 battalions of the 28th.
Which were you with?
Hmm?
Which were you with?
27th. 28 are the ones that hit on the lower side. They're the ones that we hit pretty much in the neck of the island there, and the 28th
At Suribachi.
wheeled to their left and went toward Suribachi, and we wheeled to our right and went toward the airstrip.
It's not that big of an airstrip, was it? How big was the?
Well, it was after hell, within a week or 10 days after we landed there, they were already landing those. Those
Big ones.
those big bombers on there. They had got in a company or 2 of CBs, and they had bulldozed all the wreckers. It was all full of Jap planes, wreckers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet. Probably needed
First
some.
airstrip, they didn't even let them get off the ground. They just
Shot them up.
caught them before, just like, you know, they did the Iraq Air Force. They just caught them on the ground when they got up there and just blacked the whole airstrip was all full of blown up planes. Then CBs got in there and just bulldozed them all off to the side, and they got that airstrip. It was open, and hell, I'm sure within 10 days they had crippled bombers coming back in Tokyo landing on there.
Wow.
B-29s then?
Big ones. B-27, B-29.
Started paying for itself pretty fast. I mean, that's why they took it in the first place, to catch them bombers before they went into the drink. You know.
Wow. Refueling station then basically.
Eventually, I guess they moved them in there for, they were coming from, I think from Tinian before that, Saipan, Tinian.
That's a little farther.
I think the field, the Saipan was the big island, Tinian was a little smaller island off the coast of Saipan. Tinian, where the big airstrips were, that's where they flew up from.
Wow.
Gee, that was a beautiful body of water, that Magician Bay in Saipan, between Saipan and around Saipan, and then Tinian. It was just only about a mile or a mile and a half off the coast of Saipan, small island, but it's big enough to have a good airstrip on it. So. That's why they took that too. I mean, that was on the road to Tokyo. I mean, they had to get that to move the bombers closer, kept moving them closer. You know.
Yeah.
And Iwo was taking the salvage them on the way back to the Iwo. We were less than 700 miles from Japan when we were on Iwo.
Yeah.
That ain't much of a flight for them big things.
Nope. Those things are mostly fuel, weren't they?
They could go that far crippled from there.
Wow. How long had you been in before you went to Iwojima? You'd been in a long time already, or?
Oh yeah, I've been there since December of '41. I was in the 2nd Marine Division already. I didn't go out with them, no. I attached to the training center there at Camp Elliott.
Where's Camp Elliott? Where's Camp Elliott?
It's a housing developer now. I think it was outside of San Diego, and,
Oh.
kind of in the
On the
Point
hills?
Loma, where you're...
Point Loma.
Miramar.
Miramar.
Out that way where those little airfields were.
Yeah.
Camp Elliott was too far from there. That was a little ramshackle, like the hotel in Coney Coast, little wood frame barracks. Right after World War II, and not much after. As soon as it opened Pendleton, they shut Elliott down, and then not too much after the war, they went in there with bulldozers and leveled it on.
What happened after you were injured?
After the injury?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember they took me out to the hospital ship. No, it wasn't a hospital ship, it was a PA that was converted to be used as a hospital ship. Didn't have all the facilities that a regular hospital ship had. But they loaded as many as they could wounded on there, and then they headed toward Guam, but by the time we got down to near Guam, they said they couldn't handle it, so they loaded.
Oh, yeah.
Turned around and went to Saipan, so I was in that Army station hospital on Saipan for about a week to 10 days. And then finally they put us on ships and took it to the ice hospital.
Did you lose your fingers right away, or?
Yeah, I took them off on the hospital.
Didn't you injure your eye too?
No, picking shrapnel on the whole left side there. I remember on the table, tweezers,
Ooh.
Yes.
picking it out.
Must have been fun. Did they give you anything
Well,
for it?
that's what, I think that's what started it. That left ear of mine is the one that took most of it.
What did you get hit with?
Huh?
What did
Mortar?
you get hit with?
Probably
Oh,
mortar.
it must have been a mortar.
Shrapnel from a mortar.
Something because we were running across this open stretch and I had my rifle in my left hand here, and it just hit right on the hand and the rifle. I mean, I don't know what happened to the rifle, just whatever it was, it just wiped it away.
Probably didn't even feel it at first.
Happened
That's
quick.
the one thing when you get hurt. When you get hurt real, other than a severe bruise or something like that. I mean, they hurt right away. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, when it's really traumatic. I mean, you don't feel any pain. I thought I was way up in the air. I remember saying that. Get me down. Get me down. You're on the ground.
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Wow.
I thought I went up.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was out of body.
Maybe out of body experience, they always have on the TV. Yeah.
Well, I didn't see the tunnel or God in the end of it or nothing. I just thought I was up in the air, and I remember
Trying to get your balance.
I was trying to get myself down. funny the reaction you have to something. I don't know where I got that feeling. I was way up in the air, but that's what I thought.
Had they given you any morphine or anything? Did they?
Oh yeah.
So it was like their drug of
We
choice.
all had morphine. You get morphine yourself for crying out loud. I didn't know it was medicine.
Oh, so you had it for right away. You can get something for the pain.
Because they're gonna be.
You're not supposed to take care of yourself, but I mean, in case you could help somebody else. But them corpsmen, they are really fantastic. And corpsmen, they're so far superior to those, what do they call them in the Army, medics in the Army.
Medics.
You know, when I was in that Saipan Station Hospital, those Army medics, the men there, they'd have to call on, you see, I was on penicillin, you know, every 4 hours
Shot in the hip.
for a week, day and night, I mean. And they used to have to call an Army nurse to give me the penicillin. They couldn't do it, or wouldn't do it, or weren't allowed to do it, I don't know.
Oh
When
yeah.
I got to I talked from Honolulu, those corpsmen there, boy, they flip you over.
That's right. Very quick about it, huh?
A little dart for you, they just throw it and
That's what you do. You dart it. That's how you do it right.
Dart it.
It is. It's a flick of the wrist.
That sounds pretty nasty to me. I don't know if I'd want to.
those corpsmen there, they did all that. Navy out there. I don't know how many I got over here. I was on every 4 hours for a week, and now I'm back to the doctor again. My hand looked like a boxing glove, you know. So then they put me on every 3 hours for another week. I don't, God, no.
Great.
Jeez, I mean, they were putting an iron first, and then they started putting in a buttock. I was getting so I was so black and blue there that
Running out of spots.
they had
Start using the spots.
I had to start studying where to put it. And after that, then they put me on every 4 hours for a week again. After that, I was on, I got several hundred. I had several hundred shots of penicillin. I was on it for 3 or 4 weeks off and on, mostly on it, just different dosages. I think they figured I was going to wind up with a hook or anything.
Really?
That's a good thing you didn't wind it with one of those. Those still don't look great. Yeah. No matter how new they make them, they still look about the same.
So where did you go? Weren't you in Yosemite for a while after you came back? So yeah.
Yeah, I went to Okinawa Hospital. Well, I went to some place in San Francisco for a day.
So you're in Honolulu.
Fleet 13 or something.
Yeah.
Out around Geneva Avenue where that Jewish home is there. They were using some big building there as a fleet outfit. I was in there for a couple of days. I think. That's how I got home.
So you weren't in the Yosemite then?
I went to Okinawa Hospital and I was over there for about a month or 6 weeks or something.
Jeez, you were in the hospital for months.
And then after that, they sent me up to Yosemite. That was a naval convalescent hospital up there. I didn't stay in the Iwojima Hotel. I stayed in they had us in those little cottages out there.
With the canvas.
Oh no, these are regular cottages.
Oh.
In peacetime, they were rented for about $100, $150 a day or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, about 6 of us in each one of them little cottages.
Right on the floor.
Yeah.
Real nice. Yeah. The royalty.
Not too far from the Iwojima Hotel. They used the Iwojima Hotel too.
Wow.
I guess I was more or less in the convalescent stage. I mean, they kept the ones in the hospital that required more treatment. I didn't require much treatment. They just
Doing physical therapy on your hand and stuff.
yeah, well, Okinawa Hospital, they operate on me again.
For what?
They operated on me again in Oak Knoll before I went up there. That's why they sent me up there. They got back now. But the fingers were off, but I couldn't, and the thumb, of course, is atrophied. I mean, and I had no grip. I mean, I couldn't get these fingers together. So they had that's where that big scar is there. They had a slice down there and cut the metacarpal way back down to here. So to make the palm smaller, so I get some kind of a grip.
Boy.
So you were on the ship hospital for about a week, and then Saipan, and then Honolulu, and then San.
Oak Knoll, and then finally wound up in Yosemite. No, I didn't wind up in Yosemite. Then went over to Mare Island. I was over there for another
Where's that?
4 or 6 weeks. A Navy hospital at Mare Island shipyard.
It's in San
That's where I was
Francisco.
actually discharged from Mare Island.
Oh, they discharged you then.
They had a regular board there, you know, and you just go in there, you know, they look at you. Get that little paper and put up your hand.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you're out.
Yeah. Let's see if you can write first. Right?
Came in with all your parts, left with a few missing.
Yeah. Wonder what the casualty was at Iwojima. I can't remember.
The high casualty
At Iwojima wasn't.
on Iwo Jima.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
That 5th division probably decimated. I don't know, if I remember right, it was took about 12 or 13 ships to bring the 5th Marine Division back there, and I understand after the island was secured, they took it back to Camp Tarawa again. They took the whole division back on one.
Oh wow. It's a heck of a ratio. I wonder what Iwo Jima looks like now. They doing? Wonder what's.
I don't know, they had well, I was just reading the travel section of the paper. This year they're going to have several of them there, especially Pearl Harbor. They're going to have, and then, no, they had Pearl Harbor
Didn't they have?
last year.
Yeah.
They're having one for Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Guadalcanal, sometime this year. That was in '42 that they made those landings, so it's 50 years there.
Oh, that's what they're doing.
They had one
Anniversary
for
of the battles.
Iwo Jima about 3 or 4 years ago. I never heard anything about it until after it was all over with, and I read about it in the paper. You had to go to Tokyo first, and then they had some kind of special military plane because they took them out to Iwo.
Wow.
But I imagine in '95 they'll have a
Yeah, they'd
big
have it.
one for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So how many people were? What's this? Were you in a company or
Italian.
battalion? How many people were in your?
5th Marine. How many was that in the 5th?
That's huge, I'm sure.
I think between 18 and 19,000.
1,000. Right?
But you had a group that you went all the way through with, right?
That group?
You had a group that you went all the way through with, right?
Oh yeah, I was in the recon platoon, 27th Regiment.
How many were in that?
Well, about the size of not quite the size of a company. It was about the size of a training platoon like they had at the Marine Recruit Depot. We had about maybe 40 or 50 in that time. It was mostly, I mean, that was a recon platoon. I know on Evo we used to have to make sure that the lines are all tied together at night, and we'd have to crawl around up there and see that, you know, Company B was tied in with Company C, you know, and But we were mostly a machine gun outfit. We had a lot of machine guns, a lot of ammo.
Well, you were a sharpshooter, weren't you? So what did you use? A machine gun?
Or an M16?
You checking everything, rifle, pistol, machine gun.
Yeah.
Machine gun, they get regular targets for machine guns. Instead of targets like that, they're long,
Strip.
you know what I mean? And there's elevations and depressions. I mean, you got to be able to follow along there. You know,
Oh,
put so many rounds in each
hand
one
eye
and
grip.
follow it, elevated. I was nice and shot some pretty good scores with that thing.
You had some medals for that, didn't you?
Yeah.
No idea. Has drawers, stuff like that. We could put them up in that room.
I was especially good with the 45. I had a pistol, sharpshooter.
They needed you down in South Los Angeles.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand when I'm watching these TV programs on these guys standing 25 feet apart and missing each other.
Yeah. They didn't practice, obviously.
You don't believe some of them gun battles.
I don't think it's just practice. I think you're kind of born with it.
Yeah.
Like basketball or something, you just know where the target is.
So, but you carried a machine gun then when you went out?
Yeah, well, that was one of the.
You carry
I
kind
forget
of
what I was
close
carrying,
to
the machine gun or the
rocket launcher.
or the tripod, or I think I was going on shore. I don't think I carried the gun or the tripod. I had a couple of belts of machine gun ammunition, and then I was also the rocket launcher for the platoon.
Right. That's terrible.
I had
Go up there and
I had
fight
three or
it.
four of these rifle grenades strapped across my back too. I remember we were going over the side of the ship. I could this I guess a debarkation officer or the Navy officer, he's saying, you see me going over all this these rockets on the back. Look at me, I said, well, I can go see him.
Or jet propelled?
If anything nails them, he'll be the first man in space.
Yeah. You had a lot of stuff on your back. Yeah.
How old were you?
Then I was 24, 25. I was a couple of years older than most of the guys. I was 22 when I went in, but I had a birthday a couple of weeks after then. I was 23. I was in the recruit depot in San Diego. I turned 23. So I just had my 25th birthday, I think, when we went in Diva.
Mm.
December, and we went in there in February. I was 25. So these 17-year-old kids looked like chicks to
Start
me.
looking like babies
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, like that.
How many of the 40 or 50? How many of them came back?
There's a lot of them I didn't hear about. I know there was 3 or 4 of our guys were killed the first day, I remember.
I'm only
This
half
one kid,
fast.
he was from a rich family in the East Coast there. Yeah, his folks used to say, during the war, I mean, everything was hard to get in there. His family used to send him these care packages of food.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when he was in the States, not overseas,
Uh-huh.
so that he wouldn't have to eat that junk they had in the barracks and everything. They sent him gift packages for guys taking all his own food in there.
Do you remember his name?
I don't remember. He was somewhere, I don't know, in Rhode Island or Connecticut, one of the smaller states. These folks must have a lot of money because they were always sending him all these
She smells
big
bad.
boxes of cookies and everything.
Yeah.
The kids were always in his tent there, mail, or hey, let's go over to JoJo's tent there. There'll be fresh cookies today.
Is that in Camuela? In
Yeah.
Camuela? Yeah.
Did he get it?
First day.
Well, he ate well, right?
That doctor that,
Right up to the last minute. In fact, he had a cookie in his mouth as he got the bullet.
that doctor that none of us really cared for too. Yeah, he did.
He got it the first air. He worked
No,
himself
he,
sick
uh,
over it.
He took care of this kid. The kid, I don't know, he's practically half the side of his head was taken away practically. He took care of him all that day and into the night. Like I say, he wasn't very popular. None of the guys figured liked the doctor. He kind of a sissified little guy. He was an obstetrician, I think, in real life. They had a
Great.
name,
Oh,
they had
wow.
a name for him.
Yeah,
I bet.
I bet.
Thank you.
But he did a heck of a job. Of course, that kid died sometime the wee hours of the morning. He didn't have a prayer, and he didn't bother moving him. I mean,
We aren't going to go to war, are
It's
we?
okay, hon. You.
Is it 12 o'clock?
Yeah, surely is.
Ah.
How did any of your buddies? Did your buddies come back? Or?
one of them I saw on some newscast one night. You
was-
remember that thing in Texas they had? I don't know. It was a drug deal or something there, and they found this place. All these bodies were buried or something.
Oh yeah.
He found
I'm
or
on board.
was he one of the bodies?
No, but this Pete Stout, he was the sheriff.
One of the DEA guys.
That county in Texas where they found them, man.
Ah.
He was
Alamogordo.
He played football.
Yeah.
He
Wouldn't
was,
like
he was,
to
he
be
was a
with
big
the body.
husky guy. He played football at not Texas Tech, Texas Christian, TCU. And then later he played. He was a fullback. He played for the Washington Redskins for a few years. He's the one I was saying that used to stand. He used to stand on about the in Camuella that we had a baseball field and a
Yeah.
football field. Just it's cut out, just handmade. That guy, he'd stand. They had all the yard lines marked. He'd stand on that 20-yard line and throw that football into the end zone.
Wow.
Yeah, of course, up there.
Did you go down to the volcano when you were on it?
We were up around it, and I never particularly remember paying a hell of a lot of attention to it.
As long as it wasn't going off, right?
You mean Suribachi or?
No, he
Or
was
the
the one
other
I
thing,
got
yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah, we went up around there a lot of times. We had a rare day off. We'd hitch a ride on some military vehicle or something to the other side of the island. Take a walk. We could walk for miles, and we used to it. Nothing done. We'd walk 15, 20 miles, walking around the island.
The natives used to throw flowers.
Is that carton empty behind your town?
I don't know.
Ranch then?
Oh, yeah. Never got to see much of them. I mean, they had a lot of cattle up there. That's a huge place. I think the King Ranch in Texas is the only one that's bigger than it in the whole world. That's a huge place, that
Parker Ranch.
Yeah, our camp was a pretty good sized place, and just a little pinpoint on that place.
You said the natives used to throw flowers when you came in?
Oh, and we went up from Gila the first time. They had these little cane cars for hauling the sugar cane in. They're little open top jobs.
Good with
A
the
little
light.
narrow gauge railroad.
different effect.
It was 60 miles from Hilo up to the camp up there. And every time we cross these bridges, you know, I guess there's a big gorge there. And gee, some of them trestles we went over that little train got, you could hardly see the bottom of it again. Every time we cross, you know, going to these little bridges, the natives are all standing on top of it. And drop these flowers down.
Uh, Kilauea
They
military.
weren't sure.
I'm not quite sure who to root for, probably.
I was glad to see help coming, I guess. They
Yeah.
never too sure what the Japs are all going or not, or what it was. Seemed to be glad to see it. I don't know.
Nobody dropped the pot on your head, just a flower. We're welcome, I guess.
So you went down, the City of Refuge was there, and there was a hotel near there. Besides that, there wasn't much over there, huh? The Gila.
No, that whole coast over there was pretty
Bacon.
much like nature made it. There was nothing over there at all.
You see the petroglyphs and the rocks and stuff?
Hmm?
You see the petroglyphs and the rocks, the carvings in the rocks?
I never, can't remember them, if I did. I do remember after living in San Francisco where you'd have to ease into that ocean there. I mean, the water's so cold, you there, you just put on a short and you just walk right out into the water up to the chest and start swimming. I mean, it's just like a spa.
What-
Ocean.
What beaches did you go to?
I don't know. Did they have beaches over there?
No. It's only like
The
one
whole
white
coast,
sand
we
beach
just walk
there.
out and get in the water. I don't know.
Yeah. Where any beaches, huh?
I don't know if the one we had a particular name, but just
Black sand, most of them.
Hmm?
Most of them were black sand. Black sand beaches.
Some of them were white.
No. I don't remember nothing a while. That Kona Coast had nice beaches. You could walk right out. I mean, it wasn't like the
Oh, that
French
was,
Riviera if you got where you're walking on gravel. I mean,
Yeah.
there were nice beaches over
that's right, the tidal wave took a lot of it away.
What does reconnaissance do? That you were recon? What does that mean?
there. Well, it's supposed to have an idea where the enemy is all the time. I mean, as I say on that island, I mean, it was kind of
Everywhere.
unnecessary because you knew where they were. You didn't have to have anybody point them out to you. It was like the paratroops in the Marine Corps too. They finally disbanded them, but they never did make a combat jump. I mean, island warfare, a different type of warfare altogether than European. So.
Everybody had a gun shot, right?
Japs were just the same then as they are now. Neaty.
So would you have to take certain areas, or would you just kind of sit there and hold your own, or dig into a foxhole and?
Oh, Evo, you didn't sit still very long. You were moving forward all the time.
Oh, really?
What officer was in charge of the whole thing?
Hmm?
What commander was in charge of that operation? Do you remember? Who was there on the ship? You know, calling the calls.
Well, I think old Holland Mad was the overall commander. Of course, General Rocky was the 5th Marine Division commander. The one we were dealing mostly with was Colonel Pyne. He was the one that was. He's the one that. After he came ashore with the.
He did.
The original landing. He was on there with us the first 4 or 5 hours. In fact, he got hit in the first 4 or 5 hours. Him and his they always have an aide, an enlisted man aide. He managed to get himself and him shot too. He was a crazy bugger, Louis Pyne. He was a madman.
Why do you say that?
Well, you just said, man,
Go charging off, huh?
he played football for the Quantico Marines. You know, they always had a football team. You know, during peacetime, and he played. I think I played a tackle for the Quantico Marines. He was a big guy, Louis Pyne. You know, our second lieutenant, he was from USC, Chamberlain, Lieutenant Chamberlain. He was a kind of a young, kind of a slap-happy guy. Called him High Pockets. He was about 6'6". He played baseball for USC, I mean. But he was a kind of a free spirit. I mean, he wasn't too military. The guys liked him. I don't know what he did. I remember when we first landed in Hilo, and, you know, we were getting on to the dock there, and I don't know. They must have been told to do something. I think Chamberlain did anything, but old Louis Pyne, he was chewing him out in front of all the troops on the dock there, like he was a 5-year-old. You know, which isn't exactly the right thing to do.
No.
No.
Denigrate an officer in front of his own troops for crying out loud. I mean, he was just eating them out unmercifully for crying out loud. But that's the way he was. He was a hard nose. They say in Hilo, he got it that he was walking right up to a walking right up to a pillbox with a 45, sticking him in the hole.
Oh wow.
He just, I don't know. Whether he thought he was immortal, or I don't know. He was just,
A little bit of George Patton in him.
they wouldn't dare shoot me.
You wouldn't dare?
I'm Colonel Blaine.
They have to be a little like that, I think.
He was nuts.
Who was the general that was in charge?
You said Smith, wasn't
Rocky.
it?
Rocky. And in the Navy, who was the admiral out there on the boat?
I don't remember who was it. I guess that was the heyday of Halsey. I mean, I guess Halsey was out there again. That was a big. They might even had a couple of those hotshot admirals out there, because that was a big convoy. One of the bigger they had in South Pacific.
You said you started and then you hooked up with other ones, right?
Yeah, we left Pearl Harbor just as far as I know, just the 5th Marine Division.